Hey everyone, welcome back to Juggling Gym. Today, my friend Charles and I are going to show you two-person club passing patterns from easy to hard. The first pattern is a 5-club pattern, and there are no self-throws, and every throw is a pass. I'm throwing diagonally, and Charles is throwing straight. I like this pattern because it's super slow, and it's my favorite way to teach people how to pass clubs. Next up, we have 4-count, which is a 6-club pattern where every 4th throw is a pass. So it goes pass, self, 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 pass. I like this pattern because it's pretty slow and you can do lots of tricks. However, the one bad thing about 4-count is you only make passes with your right hand, and because of that, your left hand doesn't get as much practice. Another right-handed pattern is 2-count, where you pass every 2 beats. So it goes pass, self, pass, self. If you already know how to pass clubs, this may seem basic in the beginning, but I promise I'll get to some more complicated patterns and maybe give you some ideas of other things that you'd like to try. Now moving on to patterns that involve both the right and the left hand equally. My favorite base pattern is 3-count. You're making a pass out of every 3 beats. So pass, self, self, pass. The cool thing about 3-count is that the same 2 clubs are being passed back and forth. So you can see that the blue clubs are the only clubs that are being passed. In 1-count, also known as ultimates, every throw is a pass, and there are no self-throws. You can do this synchronously or asynchronously. Personally, I prefer the sync version on camera because you can actually tell what's happening. So we're throwing 2 clubs at once. And the async version, you throw 1 club at a time like normal, but you really can't see any difference on camera. Moving on to some more complicated patterns, we have Jim's 3-count. Jim's 3-count is a 3-count base pattern, which means that the same 2 clubs are being passed back and forth. However, in this case, Charles is throwing diagonally and I'm throwing straight instead of us both throwing straight. This means that we're doing 2 passes from our right hand in a row and then 2 passes from our left hand in a row. Now, it's very subtle and you can barely tell the difference on camera, which is why I'm slowing it down, but it actually feels pretty different when you're doing the pattern. Charles starts with 1 right-handed pass, 2 left-handed passes, 2 right-handed passes, 2 left-handed passes. I start with 2 right-handed passes, 2 left, 2 right, 2 left. Another 3-count based pattern is pass, pass, self, also known as double 3-count. In this case, only the orange clubs are being passed back and forth and the blue clubs stay in our hands. Bookends is a fun pattern that is normally done with 3 people, but there's a fun way that you can do it with 2 people as well. We're both doing 3 passes of a right hand 2-count and then 3 passes of a left hand 2-count. And there are no cells when we're switching between the 2. Unfortunately, this is another pattern that doesn't really show up on camera, but I promise it's really fun to do. It has a nice rhythm and it uses both your right and left hands. 1-5-8-3-6-7 is a really fun pattern that you can do with 3 people or 2 people. With 2 people, we're both throwing on every beat except for 2 and 4. So we're passing on 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it loops back around and we pass on 1 as well. It's a really unusual rhythm because it starts in a 2-count, then you have 5 ultimates in a row, so definitely go try this out. Our next block of patterns have to do with fast versus slow patterns, also known as mixed count patterns. The first mixed count pattern is 4 versus 3. I'm in a 4-count and Charles is in a 3-count. I always get this mixed up, but the person who has the higher number is going faster because they're doing 4 throws in the time that the other person would do 3 throws. When you're doing a fast versus slow pattern, you always throw the clubs in the spot that the person is expecting. So I'm in a 4-count, which means I'm always expecting the clubs to come to my left hand. Charles is in a 3-count, which means he expects the clubs to come to his left and right hands, so I need to alternate where I'm throwing. On camera, the difference is pretty subtle, but when you're actually doing the pattern, it feels different. And you'll notice that's a common theme with most of these club passing patterns. Once you can do 4 versus 3, you can try 3-count versus 2-count. Charles is in the 3-count again, and I'm in a 2-count. Since I'm in a 2-count, all of Charles's throws go to my left hand, and since Charles is in a 3-count, my throws alternate between his left hand and his right hand. Following the same pattern, you have 2-count versus 1-count. I'm in the 1-count and he's in the 2-count. I always throw to his left hand and he alternates between throwing to my left and right hands. This is the one mixed count pattern that actually shows up on camera pretty well. So you can see that Charles is moving a lot faster than I am. 7 clubs is a pretty difficult pattern because each person is juggling 3.5 clubs on average instead of 3 clubs. Each person is in 2-count and every throw is a double throw. 7 clubs actually is not the hardest trick on this list, and I still have more. Mildness Madness is a really fun club passing pattern with 2 people. It's based off of pass, pass, self. I know it sounds complicated, but here's how the passes work. Right hand pass, left hand pass, right hand across, left hand self. Right hand pass, right hand self, and then it switches and you do the same thing on the left side. Charles is going straight and I'm going diagonally. Just like with Jim's 3 count, one person has to start in the middle of the sequence. Charles's passes go right, left, left, right, left, right. Since I'm starting in the middle, my passes go right, left, right, right, left. You don't think about the hand acrosses, just think about the passes and the selves, and your hand will naturally do the hand across. Honestly, this pattern does not look as hard as it is on camera. You can barely see the hand across, which I was actually pretty surprised by, but this is a super fun pattern. I definitely recommend that you try it out if you can do the other ones on this list. Thanks so much for watching the video. I love club passing. I hope you understand club passing more now that you've watched the video and that maybe you have some more things to try out. Keep juggling and have fun.